It was the third staging of the Grinnell's Driving School Defensive Driving Workshop held in June as part of Road Safety Month activities. The initiative continues to be endorsed by the government as part of its reinforcement strategy to change Jamaica's road safety culture.
The main purpose for our defensive driving workshop is to educate drivers so that we can see a steady and ultimately drastic reduction in the number of persons who die on our road. So the emphasis of the program is really show people how to drive without having crashes. And we did what is called the collision prevention formula, which is actually have three basic steps in there. The first step is the R, which is to recognize traffic hazards, and then the U to understand the defense. What am I going to do about the potential crash situation that is pending? And therefore, the final step is action, and that is to act correctly in time.
The managing director of Grinnell's Driving School says the feedback from the workshops has been very encouraging and people are putting the techniques into practice.
Defensive driving is a tool, it's used across the globe to reduce crashes and save lives. If we continue this, I have no doubt that before long, Jamaica will be one of the top countries in terms of the less crashes and fatalities across the globe. But we have to bind to it.
The June staging of the Defensive Driving Workshop included a roadshow expo.
Let us advocate for responsible driving from both private and public motorists. Embrace new technologies, obey the Road Traffic Act and regulations, and demand safer habits towards transportation. Together we can make a change and reduce fatalities.
In our first look at defensive driving, we explored some techniques motorists can adopt. Driving instructor at Grinnell's Driving School, Seth Grinnell, has a few more tips to share.
Now, if you have to change lanes, and I'll also add overtake, because sometimes to change the lane, you're on the other side of the road, right? Ask yourself, is it necessary? Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you're going to make the next left turn, and so you have changed lanes to come back to this lane to make a left turn. So is it necessary? Also, do you have the requisite speed? You can't go out there and you're slower than the vehicle you're trying to pass. Also ask yourself, why can't I wait? Like, why can't I wait? Once you start to do all of those lane changes, if you're not checking your mirrors properly, there are blind spots that are not going to come into play, especially if you're a right-hand side vehicle and you have to come back to the left. We have a lot of bicycle and motorcyclists that, they change the lanes similar to like how you change it, and you increase that chance that, the propensity to be involved in a collision. And the cell phone should not be used while driving. Driving is what I call a solo task. All our attention should be given to driving. So the social media, the vlogging should be done when you're in a stationary vehicle, not when you are driving. Also, I know people get distracted by real estate. You reach that age where you want to buy property. And so you're no longer looking at the road, but you're like, wow, that house color, and I wonder how much for the deposit. So I've seen these things. So a lot of things can distract you. And the list goes on. It is more for you to know that it's drive I'm on, one task, get to my destination safely, focus on the road. The road signage is a means to inform, educate, and to reduce the collisions. But if you don't know what the road sign is saying, if you disobey the road sign, then more than likely the effect will not be what you want it to be. All motorists, pedestrians, private and public operators, motorcyclists, it is important for us to drive defensively. Driving defensively saves lives, and we know that lives are most important to each and every one of us. It is important also to be trained and certified as a defensive driver, for it increases the likelihood that you'll prevent collisions on our roadways.